Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jazz. I'm sorry, my apologies that it's been a few days since I've posted, but we are in the midst of a massive heat wave in the East Coast. So, even though I'm sitting in air, I'm still sweating. So, this is going to be a quick video, but I just wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the temptations that a food addict or a person struggling with food addiction goes through, which would be myself. I'm going to talk about me. And maybe you can find yourself somewhere in this story. So last week I went out a few times for performances, to sing and to share my poetry. And one of the places that I went to was a soul food restaurant. Listen, when I tell you the level of temptation. Now, as I said before, I do prepare myself before I go out. I make sure I eat. I fill up on vegetables. I fill up on, some quinoa or some chickpea rotini, tons of water. And I had even grabbed a couple pieces of fruit and a couple bottles of water and put it in my purse. But when you go to a restaurant, you can't pull out food and start eating it. But I just wanted to do as much as possible to prepare myself. So I get there, and of course, the smells hit. And I'm seeing the fried fish on people's plates, and I'm seeing the fried chicken, I'm seeing the mac and cheese, the turkey legs. And, my friends that I was with, we're all on our own individual journeys, and they ordered the soul food. And, you know, interestingly enough, I started to get a headache. I noticed that because if I was home, I wouldn't have got that headache. I know this. I keep I keep track of these things. And so I was like, all right, well, and the headache was really advancing. And it really could have been the internal stress and the internal battle, the quiet battle that nobody knows that's raging inside of you, that you're going through when you're a person that's dealing with a carb addiction or a food addiction. How you have to move differently, how you have to think differently, how you have to make different decisions for your individual journey, and so again, we have the power of smell. And, when you're out with your friends, you want to partake in it. You want, and food is a part of that, and they did not have any salad on that menu. When I say not a garden salad, not a leaf, not a lettuce, not a cucumber, not a mushroom, not a tomato. So I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, man, like my headache is coming on me. And I was like, you know what? I got to get something. So I'm looking for the salad, no salad. And I see I can order a side of cornbread. Now, cornbread is probably, I'm not going to say the worst thing I could have got on there, because to me, the meat, the flesh would have been the worst. But cornbread, white sugar, you know what I mean? And I'm saying, so that's a no-no for the journey that I'm on. And I don't know if you guys are looking at this saying, why couldn't she just this one time treat herself? But when you're an addict, you can't just one time treat yourself. That's what I mean by you have to think differently and move differently. And that's the battle, So I ended up ordering a side of cornbread. I was thinking about, because the only vegetable that they had was collard greens, but those collard greens was soaked and cooked in pork and oil. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. Plus, it would have torn my stomach up. I have a very sensitive stomach to collard greens. So listen to this. I ordered that cornbread, and an hour later, it still hadn't come. But yet everybody around me that had ordered full meals had got their food. So I'm like, this is gotta be a sign to not get this cornbread. And so I told her, I said, you know what? I don't want the cornbread. I had to sit here for a whole hour. So later on, the management comes up to the table, is like, you know what? We're gonna give you that cornbread for free. Cornbread for free. Well, Lord help me. I said, free? I can't turn that down. White sugar and it's free, and I'm hungry and my head is hurting. So I took the cornbread. Now, there were four big pieces of cornbread. And you know what? During this journey, even though I'm diligent, I have to also be gentle with myself. And I have to, and I've learned how to celebrate little baby steps. There was a time where I would have ate and inhaled that entire basket of cornbread. And you know how many pieces I ate out of the four? One. No, I ate like one and like a quarter. And I shared the rest of it with my friends. And I was okay. And I drank my bottles of water, and I just had them keep bringing water to my table. And I was okay. So that's just a little bit of what I go through, and what do you do? What do you do with whatever struggles that you're going through out there? It may not be a struggle with food. You could be dealing with a struggle with alcohol. You could be dealing with a struggle with gambling. It could be a love addiction. What could an addiction to people pleasing? How do you handle those storms that roll through your life? So I just wanted to share that with you, and then that's what I went through. I think the night before I was at another restaurant, another spot, singing and performing, and it wasn't a soul food restaurant, but they had some good food on the menu. And I was sitting there like, again, that internal struggle. Again, yes, I had prepared before I went. But when you get there and you're amongst friends and you're amongst those smells, and, I even go so far as to, and I'm not looking at the menu. There's no need for me to look at the menu. Now, they did have salad on there, but automatically my eyes went to that fried chicken, and, and I sat there and I had, conversations with myself. Jazz, if you do this, if you order that cheeseburger, or if you order that piece of fish, what's to stop you from doing it again? Okay, yeah, you have a little bit of a cheat meal. So you say yes. What's to stop you from doing it again? Nothing. Nothing. So that's why, I have to be strict with myself, in these terms. And so what do you do? How do you handle your temptations? How do you handle, these these times on your journey when you're confronted with the thing that you have been fighting for years, and you're now on the journey to wholeness and healing and health? How do you handle it? So leave me some comments. Leave me your thoughts. I love to hear from you. I thank you so much for being here with me. Again, I apologize for the lapse of time. I wanted to put up a video like 2 days ago, but it was just sweltering, heat. So be careful out there. I don't know where in the world you are, but I know the East Coast is in the grip. I think this is across the globe that we're in the grip of, except for, of course, the North and South Pole, the Arctic and Antarctic. We are in the midst of a heat wave, so be good to yourself. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I mean, I hydrate anyway, regardless of the weather. You know what, is it regardless or irregardless? I always wondered about that. But this is Jazz signing off, and as always, I leave you with, you are wanted. You are needed. You are more than enough. You are loved. I love you guys, and I see you soon. Blessings. Stay cool.